Today we're going to go over the accessories available for the Joolz Aer and Aer Plus, for any of you looking to blow a little extra dough and trick out the model as much as possible. And as we go, we'll discuss our opinions on the use value of each item, whether they're worth the price, in some cases versus third-party alternatives, and in at least one case, explain why we strongly feel the accessory should be avoided. And jumping right into it then, with the two items that I personally always find essential, though this will depend on where you live in the world, they are the insect netting and rain covers. With both items, there are separate versions for the carry cot and the main stroller. The insect netting for the carry cot costing $25 and the larger version costing $30. Both nettings are nice if you want something streamlined specifically for the model, though this is one of those accessories where I personally would probably just go for a generic netting that can fit on either configuration. When it comes to the rain cover, however, generic covers often obscure visibility, and my preference then would be to get the model-specific covers, where the cot's rain cover sells for $45, and the main rain cover, for the Aer Plus, which usually needs to be purchased as an extra accessory, costs $50. The original Aer comes with a cover, so you won't need to purchase it separately, and is a bit inferior in my opinion to the new version, though it's hard to argue with free. The third item that sort of falls into the same category is the comfort cover, sold for $45, which adds sun coverage to the model and is particularly nice with the original Aer, which has a shorter canopy than the Aer Plus. There are third-party sun covers that might save you a little cash here, but in my opinion, this is also a nice accessory to buy model-specific, since it will be easier to attach. The other sun coverage accessory that Joolz sells is a parasol, for between $40 and $50, but personally, I've always found parasol accessories kind of gimmicky and awkward, and I feel that a proper sun hood like the comfort cover will serve you better. Next up are the leg rest and bumper bar, where the leg rest in particular, priced at $45, can be a useful piece of kit by providing leg support for naps if you're using the Aer or Aer Plus with a smaller toddler, though I would note that many parents have complained that, when attached, it interferes with the use of the shoulder strap, which is something to consider if you anticipate a lot of folding and carrying with the model. The bumper bar, sold at $45 and $50 respectively for the Aer and Aer Plus versions, can also be a useful feature, though it's less important than the leg rest in my opinion. And the difference between the two versions, as far as I can tell, is that the Aer Plus bar has a 360-degree swivel and that the model can be folded with the bar attached, which are features that are way worth the extra $5 in my opinion. And note here that the newer bar will also fit on the original Aer as well. Alright, moving on are all those bits that add padding and insulation to the model, where the most relevant accessories in my opinion are the two foot muffs, basically sleeping bags with slits to feed the harness through, with the basic version costing $120 and the puffer version, which is warmer and waterproof, costing $180. These are nice, though I would note that if you live somewhere where you actually need a foot muff, then it's very possible that, like here in Norway, there are third-party brands dedicated specifically to producing warmer, higher quality bags that you might consider going for instead. Not that the Joolz versions are bad, mind you, I just want to point out that there are multiple options. The other accessory that's quite nice in this category is the Honeycomb nest for $60, which can be used with the bassinet. And on top of these items are also the Honeycomb blanket for $70 and the swaddle for $17, which are fine, but also accessories where there's no real reason not to look for alternatives on the wider market. Lastly for this category are a wide variety of textile spare parts, sheets, replacement stroller textiles, and so on, which already come in some form with either the Aer or the bassinet, but, as with the mechanical spare parts that Joolz has also made available, might of course be useful to buy in the future. Next up are the two newborn options available for the Aer and Aer Plus, the car seat adapters and the bassinet, where the car seat adapters, around $45 to $50, allow the Aer to be kept in the trunk for quick excursions out of your car without waking up your baby and transferring them to the stroller. Joolz's adapters work with several of the bigger car seat brands and are a good choice if you're using the Aer with a newborn and you drive a lot to get around. The bassinet is for if you'll need to keep your baby in the stroller for longer periods on a daily basis, if for example you're going on holiday or you plan to use the Aer as your main stroller, and has the nifty feature of collapsing flat while still attached to the chassis, allowing the whole assembly to be folded down as a single piece and slung from your shoulder. I would note here that this setup is not going to fit within cabin luggage guidelines, but that doesn't mean it might not be handy for other purposes, if for nothing else, making the model a bit easier to store away. The main downside of the bassinet is of course the price, $250, which pushes the total cost of the stroller up a bit too high for my taste. But then, if you absolutely need to use an ultra compact during the first 6 months, which some people do, then it is a viable option. Okay, we're getting close to the end of this guide, and next up are 4 items that are kinda cool, but not must-haves in my opinion, that I'd like to cover before getting to the one item that I actually would strongly recommend against getting. First up being the cup holder, sold for $20 to $25, which is sort of self-explanatory. Secondly being the organizer for $50 and the changing mat for around $30, which are fine, but are also that sort of item where there are plenty of cheaper third-party alternatives. And lastly, there's the LED light, sold at a whopping $45, which isn't necessary, but is definitely cool since there's a spot pre-built into the model for it. Though the truth is that, if it's just about being more visible at night, then there are generic LED light attachments sold for a lot less. And last up then is the one accessory that I actually recommend not getting, and that's the footboard, sold for $120. Not because the concept isn't cool, or that older children don't enjoy the novelty of it from time to time, but rather because wheeled boards are one of the chief causes of loose or broken stroller chassis in my experience, especially with ultra compacts, as the added weight, combined with real-world steering, tipping, and rougher terrain, puts too much pressure on both the rear wheels and frame, and also the connection points and locking mechanisms of the rest of the chassis. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, please subscribe, as this sort of support really helps us to continue making videos in the future. In addition, if you're currently shopping for a stroller, we have a buyer's guide on our Patreon page which lists a wide range of models that we recommend, with a lot of technical and lifestyle related information. You can find it by following the link in the description. Thank you.